Today's energy carries a deep, unmistakable heaviness, almost like an emotional weight pressing down on both you and your person. They are moving through their day with a quiet sadness, feeling lost without your presence. Even if they're trying to keep themselves busy or appear composed on the outside, internally they feel a strong emptiness where your connection used to be. They remember how different life felt when you were around, lighter, happier, more meaningful. Your energy brought them a sense of comfort and satisfaction they haven't been able to replace. Now, without you, the contrast is undeniable, and it's hitting them more intensely than they expected. They also recognize, perhaps more clearly than ever before, that their inconsistent, back-and-forth behavior played a major role in creating the distance between you. They know their actions left you feeling confused, exhausted, and eventually hopeless. You reached a point where you stopped expecting effort, communication, or clarity from them because you had been let down so many times. You might have fallen into silence not out of indifference, but out of self-preservation. They can feel this shift in you, and it scares them because they know it's a sign you're emotionally withdrawing and protecting your peace. Right now, your person sees you as defensive, not in a negative way, but in a way that shows you're tired of being hurt. You've built boundaries because their deception, ego-driven decisions, or unwillingness to take accountability pushed you too far. They see that you're not as open or receptive as you once were, and deep down, they understand why. It hurts them to know they contributed to your pain, yet they're also aware that it's their responsibility to fix what they broke. This awareness is starting to motivate them toward change. They're afraid of losing you forever, and that fear is pushing them to plan their next steps carefully. They want to return to you with sincerity, not empty promises. They want to rebuild your trust, but they also know that trust isn't something you'll hand over easily this time. They're thinking about what to say, how to approach you, and how to show you that their intentions are genuine. For once, they're considering your feelings instead of acting impulsively. However, even as they plan, they're hesitating. They feel that if they reach out too soon, or without the full truth, you might respond with anger or frustration. They sense that you're still upset, and they're afraid you're not ready to hear from them unless they come forward with complete honesty. The possibility of a confrontation intimidates them, not because they don't want to face the consequences, but because they fear making things worse between you. They know you deserve the truth, but revealing it means admitting their mistakes fully, and they're still gathering the courage to do that. This physical separation between the two of you has created an intense emotional storm within them. Instead of distancing themselves or moving on, they find themselves drawn to you even more strongly. The silence between you isn't a reflection of indifference, it's fueling their longing. They think about you constantly, replaying memories, imagining conversations, and wondering what you're feeling. Even when they try to distract themselves, their thoughts circle back to you. In their quiet moments, especially at night, the emotions hit the hardest. They feel regret, longing, guilt, and fear all at once. Some nights they even cry, not just because they miss you, but because they're afraid they've waited too long or caused too much damage. They wonder if you've stopped caring or if you'll ever be able to trust them again. Despite all of this, they haven't given up. Their silence is not a sign of abandonment, it is a sign of internal conflict and emotional overwhelm. They want to return to you in the right way, with the right words, at the right time. They want to be the version of themselves you believed they could be. They want to show you consistency, effort, and emotional vulnerability, things they struggled to offer before. But they also fear that by the time they gather the courage to act, you may have healed and moved on. This fear is part of what makes your absence feel so heavy for them. They're realizing just how much your presence meant, and how deeply they misjudged the consequences of their actions. Right now, they are in a place of reflection, longing, and slow transformation. They're trying to understand how to move forward without causing more pain. They're learning to confront their own ego and the emotional patterns that pushed you away. And through it all, one thing remains constant: you are still on their mind every single day. Even if you don't see it, even if they're silent, even if you're unsure of what they feel, they haven't forgotten you. They haven't moved on. This distance, painful as it is, has opened their eyes. And whether slowly or suddenly, they're inching toward the moment when they'll reach out, not out of fear, but out of genuine love, clarity, and the desire to rebuild what was lost. My heart is sore in ways that are difficult to explain, and sometimes even harder to fully understand. I've been through so much, more than I ever expected or prepared myself for, and lately the weight of everything has left me feeling exhausted, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. But even in that exhaustion, even while carrying all of that heaviness, something inside me refuses to give up. I'm making the necessary changes, step by step, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like I'm tearing pieces of myself apart just to rebuild them in a better way. And through all of this, I want you to know that I am not giving up on you. Not now, not ever. For the first time in a long while, I feel like I'm coming out of a deep, suffocating darkness. It's as if my eyes are finally adjusting to the light, allowing me to see things as they truly are, not filtered through fear, confusion, or the wounds I never addressed. I'm realizing that a part of me always knew, deep down, that I wasn't handling things with you the way I should have. I can admit now that I acted out of pain I hadn't healed, out of patterns I didn't yet know how to break, out of fears I convinced myself were truths. But as much as I regret the ways I fell short, I also understand that the journey, the mistakes, the silence, the distance, was something I needed to experience in order to confront the parts of myself I had ignored for so long. In the beginning, my mind couldn't make sense of it all. I felt overwhelmed, like I was being pulled in 100 emotional directions at once. There were days when I questioned everything, days when the confusion felt louder than my heart, and moments when I wasn't sure if I would ever find clarity again. I won't lie about that, it was intense, chaotic, and at times frightening. But within that chaos, a truth kept whispering to me, gently but persistently, I needed to change. I needed to stop running from the things that scared me. I needed to confront the parts of my life that no longer served me, no matter how familiar or comfortable they once were. I was scared of change for so long. Change meant uncertainty. It meant stepping away from what I knew, even if what I knew was hurting me. But there came a moment when I could no longer pretend, a moment when my heart wouldn't let me ignore the truth. And part of that truth was that I couldn't keep approaching you with the same unsettled, confused energy I had before. I couldn't continue speaking to you while my mind was cloudy and my emotions unresolved. So I stepped back, not because I wanted distance from you, but because I needed distance from the noise inside myself. I stopped talking to you because I had to face the truth with my eyes fully open. I needed time to think things through clearly, to confront the things I had been avoiding, and to understand how to come toward you without fear, without guilt, and without the weight of my past mistakes dragging behind me. I wanted to be able to stand in front of you with an open heart, a clear mind, and a genuine intention, not the fragmented version of myself that I was before. During this time apart, I've realized something powerful and undeniable: we belong together. Not in a rushed, chaotic, or uncertain way, but in a deep, steady, soul-level way. The kind of belonging that doesn't fade with silence, distance, or difficulty. The kind of connection that continues to echo even when everything else grows quiet. I feel it with a certainty that I can't explain and don't need to question anymore. I believe in us. I believe in the future we can build, not out of desperation or fear of being alone, but out of genuine love, mutual understanding, and a readiness that I didn't have before. I believe we can create something strong, healthy, and lasting, something founded on honesty, patience, compassion, and growth. I am learning, evolving, and becoming someone who can not only love you deeply but love you well. My love for you is real. It is steady, and it is stronger than ever. Even through everything, the silence, the confusion, the emotional storms, it never faded. If anything, it became clearer. I see you now in a way I didn't before. I see the value of what we share, the beauty of what we can still create, and the depth of what I feel for you. And I want you to know that this love is not impulsive or temporary. It is something rooted, something I trust, something I'm willing to fight for and grow with. So believe me when I say this, I am coming back to you with a heart that has been tested but not broken, with a mind that has learned, and with a spirit that finally understands what truly matters. I am coming back not as the person I was, but as someone who is ready, really ready, to love you the way you deserve. Your partner sees you as their long-awaited wish fulfilled, someone who entered their life not as a fleeting presence but as a guiding star, illuminating parts of themselves they never imagined could change. In their eyes, you are the person who helped them grow in ways they once believed were impossible. You challenged their old patterns, encouraged them to face the parts of themselves shaped by insecurity and fear, and ultimately pushed them toward healing. They recognize that their past behaviors, codependence, manipulation, emotional avoidance, came from a place of pain, not malice, but you were the one who gave them the courage to confront those shadows instead of hiding behind them. Because of that, they feel an extraordinary bond with you, something deeper than infatuation and much more meaningful than simple attachment. What makes this bond so powerful for them is the way you treated them, with a warmth that felt like home. You welcomed them into your life as though they were part of your own family, offering comfort through their turmoil and steadiness through their confusion. During their darkest moments, when uncertainty clouded their mind and they felt lost, you became a source of grounding and reassurance. They remember the way you listened without judgment, the way you spoke with sincerity, and the way your presence alone made the chaos inside them feel more manageable. To them, you were never just a romantic interest or a companion, you were someone who nurtured their spirit when it was at its most fragile. They think of you as one of the most genuine people they have ever met. Your honesty, your compassion, and your ability to care deeply made them feel safe in ways they rarely experienced before. And because of how much you matter to them, they have also become painfully aware of the times they failed to reciprocate that same consistency and respect. They know that you haven't been initiating communication lately, and they understand exactly why. They remember the moments when they ignored your messages or calls, moments when they let their own fears or emotional immaturity take over. At the time, they didn't realize how much those actions hurt you, but now they see it clearly. They know those choices made you feel unimportant, dismissed, or taken for granted, and the weight of that realization has stayed with them. Right now, they find themselves unsure of how to approach you. They want to reach out, to open the door that has been left closed for too long, but they feel caught between hope and hesitation. They fear saying the wrong thing, reopening wounds, or pushing too hard when all they want is to rebuild the connection gently and respectfully. They also worry that too much time has passed, that their silence or avoidance may have created a distance that can't easily be crossed. Still, despite these fears, their heart longs to mend what was broken. They don't want to lose you, not as a partner, not as a friend, not as someone who once meant more to them than they ever admitted aloud. In their quiet moments, they find themselves returning to old conversations between you both. They scroll through messages, rereading lines that once made them laugh, smile, or feel seen. They replay the memories of your time together, moments full of warmth, shared understanding, and the kind of closeness that made the world feel gentler. Each memory stirs something deep in them, a mixture of longing, regret, and affection. They feel the ache of your absence, not as a passing sadness but as a lingering pain that reminds them of how deeply they miss you. They remember the way you spoke to them with patience, the way you offered advice without condescension, and the way you made them feel valued simply by being yourself. They remember moments filled with comfort, late-night conversations, small acts of kindness, the feeling of being emotionally held when everything else felt uncertain. These recollections are bittersweet, reminding them of what they had and what they fear they may have lost. As they revisit these memories, a part of them hopes that you might be doing the same, that somewhere in your own quiet moments, you might also be thinking about the bond you shared. They hope that the connection wasn't one-sided, that the care and understanding you offered came from a place of genuine affection. They hope that healing is still possible, that forgiveness is not out of reach, and that the two of you could rebuild something stronger and more honest than before. Your partner's heart aches with the desire to make things right. They want to step forward, to express everything they once kept unspoken, to show you that they've grown and changed because of the impact you had on their life. More than anything, they want the chance to reconnect, to approach you with sincerity, humility, and love, and to honor the bond that once meant everything to both of you.